Hi, good morning, guys. Johnny, Mr. Forex Fire. It is the 9th of December, Monday. It's 20 past 8. And again, we're getting closer to Christmas, so the market's will be slowing down a little. But what we're going to do, we're going to take a little look. And we're on the 15 minutes. As you can see, the Euro USD, we've had a poke out of the Asian session. So I'm just going to take us down to 5 minutes. And I'm just going to go and put from the high down to the low. And at the minute, we can see on this, we do have the momentum candle and we need it to be a separation candle. So we need it to stop breathing and stay within the tank here. Okay. CAD-JPY, we'll go up to the 15 minutes. It looks as if we want to take out the 8 AM session of Friday. However, we have a lot of imbalance on the top of here, so we might be ignoring this one today. The GU, again, we do have a lot of imbalance up on the buy side. Okay, we do have imbalance up here. Uh, we have broken the sessions of the lunch, the PM, and the Asian, especially the Asian for today. We did start pulling back. However, we've got good targets to the sell side, in all fairness, which is right the way down here. We have the imbalance. We have the true day open from the start of Monday, and we've got the Asian low. So we may find that we're either going to target up into this high area before we get the reversal down to these areas. So I'm interested in the EU and the GU today. Again, with regards to what we're seeing at the minute, we've had the separation candle on this. So we'll just wait for an alert to trigger for us on this. I don't think I'm too bothered about the GU at the minute. I might just concentrate on the one setup today, and we might go for a bit of a higher of a percentage move, depending on what is between this and this. So it's only about 5 pips. There's not a huge amount, to be fair. So we might just risk the 1/4%, to be honest. We'll see how it goes. So as a rundown, the CAD-JPY, we are going up towards the London, or the not the we are making a London high, I should say, but it's the New York EM session high. But above that, there is two higher areas of entity, which is this here, and there's that right there. Okay, so we might find we'll go higher on that. Uh, the GU at the minute. Again, we'll keep a close eye on this one because we have broken above. Excuse me, we have broken above. We swept through what would have been left on this imbalance. Okay, so you've seen there, it's triggered into there. Yeah, so that swept and mitigated into that anyway. Okay, very minute bit. Uh, so we could come down, but I would expect this to maybe go to the higher end first. So I've got all eyes on the prize, which is going to be the euro at the moment. We don't quite want it on the 1 minute because we want that momentum candle to come up and touch now because we do officially have a separation candle. So just keep an eye on that. I'm going to pause the video for a bit, guys. Wait for an alarm to trigger off, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, guys. So we've came up and we mitigated into this. I am going to check the news. To be fair, the USD is pretty weak, so I'm not sure if I'm going to set up a trade this morning. But we're going to take a look at the 1 minute because we are waiting for uh, basically the bullish, and then after that we're waiting for a bearish engulfing. Okay, so that's the pattern we're waiting on, guys. But we cannot exceed We cannot exceed that. So again, we just got to be patient. We'll see what happens. It just keeps us out of a bad trade of anything. It looks like it might take us straight out, to be fair. But this is why we have these set rules, because it just keeps us in check. Yeah, so we're out of that. So I'm glad of that because it was a very fine line, to be fair. We've swept through that. We're just going to get rid of the drones. We'll go back to the 15 men. Okay. We understand that we've taken out these highs. Okay. Uh, we do have highs here, and there are obviously highs here as well. So technically, what we're waiting for now is the bearish candle to come back in on this one. And again, the reason why I believe that this has done this is because when we look at the GU acts in the same sort of way. I do think we may come up and take out these higher areas. Like on here, I do think we may come up to this before doing this sort of thing. Uh, but we'll wait and see. I'll pause the video. We'll be back in a short while. Okay, guys, like I say, it is Monday morning, so we may not get much as in a setup. We are breaking structure of these areas. Okay, we're starting to come out of these areas, breaking the Asian high, the New York PM from Friday and the New York lunchtime from Friday. We do have a pullback into the 50% of the New York AM. We have headed towards that. However, these candles here that you're seeing here, we did get some bearish move, but basically price had just consolidated on itself. So again, we're not going to rush into any trade. And like I say, this session, this recorded vlog that I'm doing now, may come to a point where there's no trade at all. I do these vlogs, excuse me, I do these vlogs for me to look back onto for my diary, okay? And I can see on the MACD, we are momentum to the upside, to be fair. And I'm going to look at the GU again. You know the preference on the GU. I do believe the GU, we are going to come up into this area. Like I say, I'm doing this all in front of you. I'm not hiding behind numbers. It's live as I'm recording it. You can see the countdown here, 4 minutes and odd. We've just got to learn to be patient and again, looking at structure and liquidity. Okay, you can see from this New York EM session on Friday, excuse me, we did break out a couple of times and we just couldn't break to the downside. So all of this we're seeing down here, we may even see price break up, retest, sweep that, and then start to break down going into the New York sessions. You know, we may even see that. So at the minute, it's all about just sitting on your hands and trying to be patient and understanding where price is. The reason I've got this box here, remember, is fair value. But we could, because we were failing to sweep this. Well, we did sweep it fair, and to be honest, because of the Asian law here from last night. We could be taking out all the liquidity from the sell side to go and attack the liquidity on the buy side, you know. So we could come up and react through this mitigating and push through here, and more so even look at sort of that area because we could include that area as well, you know. So we may even want to push a little bit higher up through that as well, to be fair, you know. So it's just something we need to watch out for. CAD JPY, again, we've got a lot of noise in between here. Okay. We've broken out through all of this liquidity here. Momentum wise, and we took out liquidity right here. Excuse me. Ugh, tired. But if we do go and mitigate up into these higher areas, we can't forget that we do have the true day open from last night right here, and we also have the Asian low, you know. So if we go up to take out these areas, definitely mitigate into these and possibly try and take out some of that. Okay. We do have possibly the 50% area of the New York EM up here. We could even target right up into here, you know. So this session this morning for me, it's more of a price watch. And I'm trying to do the best I can to give you what I see. It's not to say it's correct. It's just my analysis on what I'm seeing on the movement of price. And again, if we have a look at currency strength, which is another, it's an EE I use, but I use these strength meters to help me. We can see the CAD is relatively strong. The JPY is super weak, okay? Super, super, super weak. So there's every reason for this on the CAD JPY, every reason for this to want to come higher up into these areas, you know. Uh, and again, this is just my my bias and my subjective look at things, okay? So we could be sort of waiting for something like this and get a head and shoulder pattern up on this top end. But more certainly because the JPY is super, super weak. So the card's just not in the question for me today. Uh, let's take a look. And again, the GBP USD, I'll give you the analysis on this. I do believe we're going to go higher into this, to be fair. Let's have a look at the strengths. GBP is relatively strong. Again, USD is pretty weak. It's not massively weak, but it's one of the weakest, you know. So there's no point looking for sells at this time. The Euro USD, okay. So a similar sort of process, apart from the GBP, is that little bit stronger. Hence why there's a lot of liquidity on this buy side for the GBP this year. The Euro, again, we do have liquidity here, but it's all built up within these lower highs here. We do have liquidity also there in the form of an FVG, you know. So as long as the euro and the GBP do stay strong, we could expect push further up into here. We have broken the Asian high. Just because we break an Asian high doesn't mean we're going to get instantaneous pullback. But we just need to understand and look at the price structure, and is there any other forms of liquidity within that zone or within that reason for it to push higher if the strength dictates it's going to be doing that. Okay, so that's my look at the minute. I'm going to give this another, what, another hour. We'll go to about 10:15. Again, I cannot force a trade. I'm not going to force a trade. I'm just giving you my analysis, my straight up analysis, my thought on what's happening with the price action. Okay. And the more you do this yourself by giving yourself a time window and time allowance, say like between 8 and 10, and you mark these things up, and then you're going to start understanding what you're looking at and what you're seeing as well. Okay. So if we don't get a trade this morning, we may go into the New York session and see a setup from there. But I'll pause the video for now and we'll come back if anything sort of materializes on itself. But this is a great little session for just to look at the price and what it's doing at this time. And again, we're not going to force something that's not there. That's not what trading's about. I'll see you in a bit. Right, okay, guys. So we've got a selling engulfing after a break. So we've got the anchor. We'll go down to 5 minutes. This is on the Euro USD. Okay. What we'll do is we'll go from the high down to that low. We don't want to return straight to the 50%. If I'm honest with you, again, it looks like we're going to close out below. The next candle will be what we call the momentum. This will be the candle that is going in the moment. And we ideally want that to be a separation candle. That means the GU may be following suit. And it looks like that. So at the moment, what we can do, I'm just going to get rid of some of the noise on my biased directional play that I thought I was going to be watching for. We're going into 15 minute, selling engulfing down into the 5. Okay. We're going from the high down to that low. I don't like to see price touching straight into these, so I'm maybe leaving that alone. The Euro USD, again, this looks as if it's going to be touching straight away. We just need to be mindful. The CAD JPY, again, we're starting to see the CAD actually starting to feel off, okay? So we're going to be getting a reaction quite quickly on this one. We'll just look at that CAD JPY at the moment. JPY is gaining strength. CAD is waned a little bit. So again, on the 15-minute, we want a bit more of a displacement coming down. We're just actively watching what's going on the 5-minute at the minute with this, and also on the Euro. Okay, we've just about had the touches in here for this. Ideally, we want to see a candle close on the 5-minute, to be fair, before we decide to get in on any action. So we'll just go down to 1 minute as well. We can see we're not quite touching into that yet. So I'm happy with that at the moment. The GU, we're just going down to the 1 minute. Again, we've tapped it, but would we go in for a sell? We may on here, to be fair. Let's take a look. 10 pips. So if I go on here, sell, stop loss, 10 pips, 20 pips, 0.25. Let's place that out, guys. I'm going to try a one shot at the minute on this. I'm not overly confident with it, if I'm honest with you. And what we'll do is I'll explain what we're seeing in a moment. So in this instance, okay, on the GU, we've got the 15 minutes. You can see we've had the displacement coming down. Okay, we dropped the anchor into the 5-minute. We've had the touchdown into here. We have touched. This is more of an aggressive move, okay, because we've touched instantly. We'll go at the 1 minute. And you know the crack with this by now. You're looking for the buy-in condition, which is the bullish candle, followed by a bearish engulfing. Okay, now if we get this pattern here, we can say high to the low. We've come and touched. This is the bullish. This is the bearish engulfing. This is where we are now. So we are slightly in profit. What I want to do as well, I do want to move this into a possible partial scenario. So let's just get on this. Let's do this to this. Just get rid of that. So this will be a take partial area. Again, what we are getting in this aggressively at the moment. It's not ideal conditions. This is why I'm vlogging this. I just want to see what the scenario is. So I'm just going to go up to the Euro USD. We'll check out up to the 5 minutes. Again, it looks like we may get the separation candle on this. I just want to see where we are with that as well. Around about 7 pips. Set the alarm. So we've got around about 19 seconds. We are contained. Okay, we've got a low at the moment. This is the momentum candle, and we don't want it to touch that instantly. We want it to stay within the confines of the 0.5 and the 0. It looks like it's going to do that. But again, this next candle now may want to go lower. Okay, so now we're waiting for this to come back up to touch this area before we go into the 1 minute. However, if this decides to push lower and break this liquidity, we then got to follow price. Okay, So at the moment, we are watching this candle right now. We're just determining what it's doing. With what we're seeing on here, again, I don't really need to go down to 1 minute. We've found the entry. The entry comes from the bearish engulfing. We get in on that next candle. So again, I can leave this on the 5 minute for now, just so I'm not going to confuse myself. We've got the target set. We've got the take partial as well. We'll just see what's going to happen with this. I'm just going to put this into here. Okay. Uh, and we'll just go with the flow. Again, if this decides, put this up to that liquidity high. This up to here. That's the 1 to 2. Right there. We'll see what happens with this. If it strikes me out, it strikes me out. Again, we're just vlogging this to see what would happen on the aggressive approach on this. Okay. I'm not overly confident on this one, but we've got to try and get in on this. It's worth the risk. We'll see. We'll get in on a touch on this one. We are coming up to 10 o'clock. Remember, guys, I always said with regards to entries, you really want to be in before 10 o'clock. This is right on the end of the window for me, to be fair. So we'll just actively watch what we're doing on here. Again, the card, I want to see more to the downside, to be fair, on this one. We'll go back that 5 minute and we'll keep tabs on this as well. We saw that top corner. So we are in profit. And in fairness, we get to 10 o'clock. If we can come down to maybe 100 of profit, I might take a partial, to be fair, rather than take a partial when we get to that 1-to-1 area. I might start shaving off profits myself, to be fair. So if we break this low, then I might look to take a partial at breaking this low and then move the SL to a break even, which is it's just going to contain myself a little bit better. Again, let's take a look at the GBP to the USD. GBP is pretty strong. USD is relatively weak, so I need to be mindful on this again. I just need to watch what I'm doing. And like I say, this is going to consolidate a little bit on this area, I think. Again, we're on the momentum candle at the minute. We may get a touch into this, but we just wait and see. And the CAD JPY again. We're coming up mitigating into the imbalance at the minute, but we're not seeing a massive downturn to the downside at the minute on that. So again, that's not quite on my radar at this given time. I just want to see this push down that little bit more. In fact, if we get this, I'm going to be careful with this one. If I can get this to maybe $20 or $30 of profit, then I might just take out, because like I say, this did touch quicker than what I anticipated and what I thought. So I might try and close out a bit of this. In fact, I'll probably close out the whole of the trade because it is a bit of an aggressive move, to be fair. But then I can keep it on stream and I can show you if it did actually go to where it is. Just I don't like the idea of having the low and then instantly tucking straight into this percentage of the 50%. So let's wait till it gets into some profits and then I'll close it off, but we'll keep it idle on here. That's if we get the chance to get it above the break even. I might have missed out on the chance now. might have missed out on that chance. You just want to get it, even if it's just like $10 or so, just to give a bit more. It looks like we might have missed out here. Like I said, I wasn't overly confident with this, to be fair. We might be learning a very sharp lesson in a moment. The 50% is just about to come in and be touched on here. There's the 50% touched on there, so that can go down to its 1 minute. Okay, and like I say, what you're waiting for on this, guys, is like on the last one, you're looking for the bullish candle, followed by the bearish engulfing. Okay, so we might as well stay on the 1 minute on this as well. Should have taken this out, to be fair. But we'll keep it live. We'll keep it going. It's part and parcel of the learning process. We'll go back onto the EU. 13 seconds, 10 seconds. And like I say, we are waiting for this setup. So at the minute, we've got that bullish candle. I just want to measure where we are on here. 6 pips. So going to here, and if I do some like 8 and 8, I think that's around about good for that. Come out of this. Anticipating engulfing to go from here up to here. So yeah, it's around about your pips, I'd say. There's the engulfing coming now. We've got 30 seconds left. We've got around about what, 8 pips. Just keeping an eye on this. We might have to push this to 10 if it pushes any further down. Get the sell ready. 8 and 8. Right, so we're going to sell from there. And we've got 2 positions in now. We've got 2 positions in now, guys. We've got the EU and the GU. And if we take this back up to 5 minutes, because we are officially in, I'll take the EU in. Take this to here. Take this to here. Let's get the 50%. Up to 50%, we'll get rid of that. Right, so again, if we strike out, we strike out. It's part and parcel of the learning process. We just accept that. We'll see what happens with this. Like I say, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to show you what happens. And we just accept what the outcome is. We went with what the parameters are, what the rules are, and the engagement. I think it was the GU. We may have gotten in a little bit quicker than what I wanted to be fair, because high, low, the 50% was touched more or less instantly. Like I see, I'm looking at this now, I maybe should have at least, waited a bit longer on the GU. Again, on this one, we have the separation candle, so that didn't 100. If this one loses out, then it doesn't bother me, because we didn't touch this. You know, I would understand. I went through all the rules on this one. So I'm hoping that maybe we have a little bit of luck on our side, because the EU and GU generally, they'll move together in unison to some extent. So maybe this might just hold off for us again, you know. it is what it is. If it, like I say, if it hits out, it hits out. Win, lose, or draw, I'll show you. I'm just going to pause the video. We'll be back in a short time. Okay, guys, so there we have it. It looks like I've struck out on the EU, which I have. We can take a look. The EU, was there any news as well? I haven't checked the news. I don't think there will have been anything major, to be fair, but saying that, we did have a vote of no confidence in the euro. 10 o'clock, there's a investor confidence. That was at 9:30. It looks like I've struck out on two parts. There's a GBP Bank of England speech later. We've struck out on two events. There's something came out in the news. I'm just going to go and take a look in my Discord at the moment as well. And I'm just going to have a look at the news feed just to see if anything's came out on this as well. 9:30 this morning. We already know about that. And there's nothing came out on my news feed on this. But there we have it, guys. It is what it is. We win some, we lose some. Okay. So at this time, this one has actually lost. Let's just take a look in hindsight and let's have a look at where we are with regards to that secondary area where it's the condition going from the anchor down to 5-minute condition. Maybe we got into this a little bit too quickly because we more or less came straight in and tapped into these. Most certainly, this is what happened on the GU. The EU was very, very fine. We more or less did that as well. When we look at this from the 15-minute standpoint, we do understand there's an imbalance up here as well as liquidity high on the EM session. And there would have been liquidity up here. Okay. Looking at the euro and the GBP, we should have really checked the strength. The GBP and the euro, very much so, a lot stronger than the USD this morning. So again, it happens. These things happen. I just understand that maybe this is probably part of what's went wrong. And then again, look where we're tapping into now, where I marked earlier, and we've got higher liquidity as well. Again, the CAD JPY, I do expect price to come up into these high areas. Should have expected a bullish market today, but hey, it is what it is. One thing I will say, I don't hide behind another. I've got no need to. I'll show you the losses as well as the wins. And today has unfortunately been a loss. We understand where price or what price was doing, where it was with the currency strength, but more so the bullish targets to the buy side. There's plenty more liquidity up there before it wants to come back down and sort of take out those lower sell side liquidities, like this sort of target. I mean, I'm expecting the CAD to do this, to come down here into the sell side later on today. The GBP, again, we've got high side liquidity on the buy side, so we've got a lot on a zonal wise down on the bottom building up. So maybe it makes sense for this to want when we come down, come up and come up. Maybe it's best for this to do that sort of maneuver, Again, on the euro, similar sort of preference. You started slowly taking out the liquidity here. I did see a target wise, we did have up here and up here. So maybe it's the same sort of preference. We've come down after making this gap here to sort of consolidate there, come down, and then possibly take out these higher targets to then possibly later on today come and attack those zones for later on in the day, I don't know. Like I said, going to share it all: wins, losses, draws, break evens, whatever you want to call it. Today has been a loss. I'm going to keep this marked up because I'm going to go into the New York session. Again, we've got to remind ourselves as well, Christmas is only a couple of weeks away. So the markets are going to be terrible for us to be trading in. but you've got to test yourself, you know. So it is what it is. Today has been a loss. We look at it and try and understand what's happened. Mark what the directional bias was initially, which is what we have here, and then I can come back later on in the day and I can see if anything plays on this path. Okay. So for now, my name's been John, Mr. Forex Fire. Unfortunately, today has been a double hit. I don't mind that. I just pick myself up, dust myself off, and I move on. Okay, guys, I'll see you on the next one.